everyday board game podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
And...
I'm Dammit Dom.
And I'm GameheadGeek.
Hey, everybody applaud. He didn't mess this one up.
I didn't mess it up. Let's celebrate it. This is our top 10s of all time. Thankfully, not janked up this time. Even better. I told you I'd get it right this time, y'all. Y'all doubted me.
No, the last time, so.
I know. There was plenty of time for doubt later, but this time I got it. Alright, so we have our two special guests here, like our friends that we play games with. As we said, we've been doing our top 100 games of all time. As a group, we're doing our top 50. This is the final episode in that, the top 10 through our top number 1 game of all time. Make your predictions in the chat. If you're listening to this for the first time right now, feel free to make your comments down below to see if you can guess our top games of all time. Are we ready to get into this, gents?
One more second. We do have an announcement to make. We did say this was going to happen. We drew the names for the drawing, and 2 winners have been in contact and have decided they want their copies of the games. I believe one of them does want it signed. So congratulations to Benjamin and what was the other one?
And Cassie.
Cassie, there we go. Thank you so much.
So congrats to both of you. You are winners of a pristine copy of Hit Me, and I will lower the value of one of them by signing them at least.
With that being said, now we're ready to go. Flip the coin of doom to tell our turn order.
Alright, here we go. Coin of doom is flipped back. I'll be taking the last one.
Alright, starting with GameheadGeek.
Alright, my number 10 is pretty much just seeing how many things can destroy Tokyo. And that is King of Tokyo. This was a game that I was introduced to at the beginning of me playing board games, and I always loved playing Yahtzee, and so this just was the game for me. Like, I remember you teaching it to us. I remember yelling at Daniel because he cheated at the end.
I had a detachable tail, sir. Detachable tail.
Bullshit. Anyways,
it's a likely story.
I've tried to collect as much of this stuff as I can, and I know none of the characters matter because it's just rolling the dice and having that little figurine. But I would love to see this thing have miniatures just for the base set, just one copy. I'm not saying I have to do it to everything, just one of the original characters, have miniatures for it, and play King of Tokyo that way.
But then you can't have a detachable tail.
I mean, you can put magnets on it. But that is my number 10, King of Tokyo.
Yeah, and I was going to mention with the number 10, or your King of Tokyo, when we talked about in the last episode, Forbidden Island was the first game we ever played together. This is the one I think really made us friends, because this is when we started talking crap to each other.
And I was afraid that Small World would be the thing that ended
our friendship before it started, yeah. All right, moving on to my number 10. This has again been on my list for the 3rd time. It originally was number 4, dropped to number 12, and just climbed back into the top 10 here. And this is one that I just am so enamored with. It was one of the games that I played a lot during the lockdowns back in the day. I just recently showed this to my in-laws. We actually gifted this to my in-laws for a birthday gift. And when we were up there for Christmas, she wanted us to show us how it went. And this is just one. It is such a good game. It is the highest party game on my list, I believe, here. Yeah, looks like it. And it's such a simple game. And yet it goes down gangbusters, because all you're going to be doing is you're wanting to give a clue to a one-word answer, 1 through 5. The person has to guess one of those words, and you're trying to give one-word clues to that word without repeats. It hits so well. I've shown it to, I've seen it played at conventions. I've shown it to family who are non-gamers. I've shown it to gamers. I've shown it to people's company picnics that they wanted me to show it to. It just goes down really well, and that is just one.
Alright, so my number 10 is a game that's already been on a couple other people's lists. At least one. Not yours.
I did not expect. I was going to be like, I'm going to be really shocked.
I'm going to say GameheadGeeks.
No, actually, it's your list.
Interesting.
In your last list. This would be...
Hold on. It was on my last list?
Pretty sure.
The previous, like, number 11 through 20.
Yeah.
Terraforming Mars.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, squeaking into the top 10, Terraforming Mars. It is my favorite of those style of games. For all the reasons that you said in the last episode, it's the same thing. You can play on the board, you can play a card engine. All the cards are different, so it is simply deciding how you want to go about your building your colony on Mars, basically. Whether you want to go the science track, whether you want to go, we're going to actually play out on the board and raise all the temperatures and the
achievement tracks.
The achievement tracks. It is just one of those games that, because of the variability of it, and then the corporations, and then with the Prelude, and I can't wait for Prelude 2.
You haven't got Prelude 2 yet?
I can't wait to play it. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be Prelude the sequel?
Yeah, Prelude to the Prelude.
Oh, interesting.
So I've gotten all the stuff for it. I got the big box, got the 3D pieces. It is one of those games, though, that it's just like, got to get it back to the table.
I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get the box extender. This way I can put everything in one box. Because I have my mats in the over here.
So I did get the box extender just so that... But I also got the mats, too, because, if the mats are at home... If I have to take it somewhere, I have all the game boards in the box. So
I also didn't get the game boards for the fan packs. I just got the game mats because I hardly take this anywhere. So it's going to one other place, and I'll just use the game boards that I have in there. Because if I'm going to show it to people, I'm just going to show them the basic ones.
So yeah, that's the other thing. I can't wait to get the new maps to the table and have fun with all that.
I will say this with this game, Terraforming Mars, and it's the fact that it's not essential, but I prefer to play it with the Prelude expansions just because it gives you that variability, that asymmetrical start. And so I like that aspect of it. So I agree with you. It's not essential, but I would rather play it with the Prelude expansions. Right. Any of the other expansions, I don't care.
And the other thing you have to do, like when you're teaching somebody, playing with a basic corporation is the way to go. But after that, you need to play with the corporations because they give you a focus on how you want to play the game. And usually you deal out 2 corporations, you choose one. So you can then choose that variability like you was talking about. So that is my number 10, Terraforming Mars.
My number 10 has been in my top 10 for the past 2 lists as well. It went from 9 and then 7 before that. So it just dropped just barely down to number 10. This is a game that you have in your collection. I know that for sure. And this is my highest ranked Sid Saxon game.
Can't stop?
Can't stop. Don't stop. Go, 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 go.
Won't stop.
Won't stop. God, I love any game where you can just shoot the moon and try and win on first turn. Like, it is so uncommon. But one day when I pull that off, I'm going to be so happy. My first turn, I always go for just broke and just try and win on the first round. Because I'm willing to start a turn later just to see if it's possible. It's so good. I adore this game. It goes down every time. Mathematically, it's really brilliant. I always appreciate when there's some really cool math involved in games. Uses the statistics really well. And this was made in the 80s and was somehow not the winner of the Spiel des Jahres that year. It makes no sense to me. But the grave injustice. Can't stop. Amazing game. And now I saw it at Barnes again. They're selling it again at Barnes. So go buy it. There's no reason you can't stop buying it. All right, just go buy it.
I saw the other group's top 100, the big one, Dice Towers. I don't like that plate version with the Velcro cups.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Give me the stop signs, man.
I haven't seen that, so yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that. That
or
sounds
play
awful.
T or something like that. Yeah. Oh man, it doesn't look
Are you
good.
thinking Liar's Dice?
No, they have those in the Can't Stop version too.
Ugh. Sounds annoying. Anyway, yeah. I adore it. Can't stop. Amazing game. Number 10.
My number 9. This is my newest game to me. I'm surprised it's as high as it is, but it is a phenomenal game. And that is Masters of the Universe, the board game.
I'm not surprised this is high for you.
Yeah. Huh?
I'm not surprised that this is high for you because, one, you love the IP, and you really dug the plays of this game.
And I've played this a couple times. I played it with a friend that owned it. We played his copy, and then I went out and bought my copy. played it with you guys. I played it solo, and I've tried playing it with the kids. That one didn't go over so well, but still, just like the overall fact of like, you can play the good guys or the bad guys. It doesn't matter. The miniatures are amazing in this. I mean, even like when we played it, and I was the fifth player or the one versus mini, like trying to get Danny just to die right there, and he still just got the extra 2 spaces in. Like, I mean, that was it. It came down to just a dice roll in that to win the game. So,
But I also like the fact that it was the process of elimination too. You figured out, well, now we see where he's at, so you basically blocked that cave for us. So we had to go in there and fight you to save the king. So yeah, it was cool.
So, but that is my number 9, Masters of the Universe. The only thing I still need to find is I really want the 3D Castle Grayskull.
No, you can't have mine.
One day I will find something you will trade that for.
No, you won't.
So you're telling me if I found a Ticket to Ride 10th anniversary, you would trade that?
No, actually.
Shots fired, everyone.
Because Castle Grayskull is from my childhood, so. Yep. I still have an old Castle Grayskull lying around somewhere.
Dude, I have a Castle Grayskull right now because of Beckham.
What about an actual board game table?
I already have one of those.
Oh, okay, well, I'm starting to like spicing the deal. I want to see this happen.
All right, moving on to my number 9. This is my highest solo game. This is the second time it's been on this list because the first time it wasn't out then. This was originally number 14, has moved into my top 10. This is by far one of the best themes of board games for me personally because I am the horror guy. This is Final Girl. I love the art in this game. I just recently saw the new announcements for the new season that they're planning on doing for but they're not gonna. Well, they are gonna do a Kickstarter for you to get the big box and everything. But these are all strictly going to be released in stores as scenario books. So all the new season is going to go into FLGSs first. Cool. So no Kickstarter for that, and then they'll do a Kickstarter I think at the beginning of next year for you to get the big box and all the extra stuff.
Nice.
But this is one of my favorites. I've played everything pretty much in the first one. I'm starting to go through the second cycle. I just received the third series. And I'm still enamored with how much I like this game a lot. It is one of the most played solo games that I have outside Onirum because of the app. Yep. But yeah, Final Girl, fantastic game. I can honestly see this climbing higher and higher on my list.
All right, so my number 9 is, let's see, this is actually my highest ranked Ryan Lockett game. So,
okay.
I'm pretty sure somebody can come up with it.
Rome. No.
It's not Sleeping Gods because you already said it.
Yep.
So it's
Near and Far.
No, it's Above and Below. You were right the first time.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, Above
Now and Later.
Later, yeah. It's Now or Never.
Now or Never.
No, that's the candy. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no. So,
I was thinking Above and Below, or I was thinking, what is the ancient something?
Ancient World?
Yeah.
No. That one's good, but no, the Above and Below, just because it reminds me of being a kid. When you go outside, you play, and you tell the story about what you went and did, the adventure you had, at the end of the night, and then, it's the same thing with this, except, you're diving into caves, you're making a decision on, and it's just rolling dice, but you're making a decision like, hey, what do I want to do? Do I want to help this person out? Is this person a little crazy? Maybe I shouldn't help them out. Maybe I should. How's this going to go over? Yeah, and depending on how many people you send in there, depends on how many dice you can roll. Depends on how many lanterns you can get, which is basically just a currency to complete the daily quests. And so it's a game, but you also can run it straight as a engine builder. If you want. You don't have to do the exploration part, but you also don't have to do the engine building part. Both ways are equally ways to get points to win the game. So, It's just one of those games. It's a very nice combination of stuff for me. It works really well. That's above and below.
All right. My number is that fully co-op or?
Mm-mm.
It is.
That's
competitive.
Yeah. It's been so long since I played it. Number 9 was number 15 before, and number 33 before that. It's steadily climbing. Daniel already brought it up on his list. I like every version that they've ever came out with, and every time they come out with a new version, it gets better and better and better. Horrified. Amazing cooperative game. I can't add any more to it, but I'm looking forward to the D&D version.
Which is your favorite version so far?
I still like the base, the original,
Same.
but probably Greek is my next.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that. Cthulhu is mean in the newest one.
Yeah, he is.
Jeez.
He's incredibly difficult. Yeah. But great game. Horrified.
My number 8 is Thunder Road Vendetta.
Ooh.
I like racing games too, but like this is kind of fun because someone does have to get knocked out for the game to kind of complete. But just the shenanigans with those dice when they start going off and you don't know what's gonna happen. Like you could go into something and be like, "This is gonna be messy," and come out just fine, and you just screwed 2 people over because you just blew up their cars or ran them into the wall or something of that nature. I still need to play some of the expansions on this just because I just got my Kickstarter in on this, but this has been a very fun game to play.
Cool. My number 8 is been on my list before. Entered at number 11 last year. Now it is moving up to number 8, and it's because I've been playing a lot more. I've been going through the campaign of it, and I've been enjoying the mess out of it. I believe its predecessor might have been a little lower on my list. Yeah, it was my number 49. It is Role Player Adventures. Again, I love the campaign. The story in this game is fantastic. I love the way you have to work as a group to decide what dice you're adding by discarding a certain card. I'm like, I'm using this card, so now I'm adding a blue die in here because we need to make a blue die check. Make sure that works properly. Sometimes it's got to be a blue die that's 4 or higher, or it has to be a green die that is exactly a 6. So it's like, which one do we need to add in here? It works really well. I love the fact that we made our characters in role player and then transferred them over into the adventure aspect of this too. We're about halfway through. There is, I think, 11 or 12 scenarios out of the base box, and I think we're in level 6 now, I believe. So I've been enjoying the mess out of it. The story makes you go, huh, and think, wait, are we working for the bad guys and stuff like that? So it makes some interesting choices at what they're doing in that game where you're like, wait a minute, what's going on right now? So I love everything about it. Role Player Adventures.
All right, my number 8 is actually basically it's for a system of games. It's not the system you're thinking
No.
about.
I know it's not the system I'm thinking of.
So basically, there's now 3 versions of this game out there, and this basically stands in for all of them. I find it best to play with characters. This is Clank, because
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Because and like I said, it stands in for Clank in Space as well as Clank Catacombs. This is the whole system, and if you get the 6-player expansion with the characters make this game 100 times better. Because they give you a focus on what you should be doing with your deck and how you should be playing. Some characters go after treasure. Some characters are just basically, hey, let's go ahead and build cards, points into the deck real quick. Grab the smallest treasure you can, and sit outside the edge of the dungeon and just keep building them points up, and then get out and watch everybody else scramble. So, yeah, I know some people have a problem with that if somebody runs in and grabs the lowest...
It's the reason why I haven't played Clank since the first time me and GameheadGeek played it, because we got destroyed by the running gun.
So, I've never seen the running gun win.
They won because the cave collapsed on us.
But that's just me. It's always been the person that was willing to push their luck the farthest. Like, You know what? There's only 5 turns left in the game, and I know this, but I'm still gonna go grab that last treasure that gives you just so many more points.
I want to try Catacombs.
I was going to say, have you tried Catacombs yet?
I haven't had a chance to actually get it to the table yet, because it looks like it does some really interesting stuff.
I like the exploration from what
I heard it fixes a lot of like what the original Clank had issues with, especially with the whole the running gunner, where they just go in, they grab a treasure, and they just scramble back up, and then everybody's like, "We just got down here, we got to grab something," and then it collapses on them.
So that's what it said. That's what they said, but they kind of fixed it in Clank and Space too, where you had
in Clank and Space too, yeah, but and with the downside with Clank and Space is that was more designed for like, I don't want to say board gamers, but you know what I mean. It was a little bit more
the hobbyists.
The
hobbyist versus the casual player.
Yep.
I do want to play Catacombs because I heard there's a lot of exploration on that one as well. So
yeah, that's why I really want to try Catacombs.
Yeah. No, it is one I have. I just haven't. It's haven't gotten it to the table yet.
Oh, your next pick, bring it on.
Well, my next pick.
No,
is this
don't
week.
do that.
My next pick is this week. So.
Oh, Bryce.
Yeah, don't do that. No.
Oh. Yeah, bring it this week.
Yeah, bring it this week.
No, I already got the games picked for
both
this
of
week.
you in the shin as hard as I can the next time it's you.
So that is my number 8, Clank.
My number 8 has been on my top 10 for the past 2 times as well. This is my second highest 2-player only game. A game of resource management and card dealing. This is obvious. You guys know what it is, right? You know what it is.
If it's not what I think it is, because I think we played it at a Gamma in Reno.
This is
No,
older.
this is an old.
This is older. It's
2-player card game.
It is in
resource
the
management.
worker placement.
No.
No, it's not that one then.
What games are you guys thinking of?
I'm thinking
2-player
Target.
only.
Oh
No,
no,
it's not Target. No, Jaipur.
okay.
Jaipur.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. No, yeah.
No, I adore Jaipur. It's always been great. It's on Board Game Arena, and that's where I first started playing it. And ever since I learned how to play it, I mean, Creative Chaos, I played against her a number of times. I played against my brother like all the time online. That was like my go-to game whenever I was teaching anybody Board Game Arena because it's a good implementation. I bought every version of it that they've ever made. The Space Cowboys version is good. I even have the old version.
With the dead panda?
With the dead panda that's being smuggled in a camel, which is sad that it's not in the new version, you know. And I hope that dead panda returns with an expansion for a reason, you know. The dead panda expansion. No, I adore it. It's so good. And it's such a really neat game of timing. I don't interact with the other player directly, but everything I do will affect how they can play. So whether I'm going to take camels, that refills the market for them. Or if I'm trading 2 cards, well, then that might give them something good. Or I want to give you something... Yeah, Creative Chaos, I got you to play it. And Creative is not the biggest of gamers. But, it's not tabletop gaming, board game. But, and just like how you could sell a lot of things, or a lot of the goods for a bonus, or you can sell them earlier to get the higher value because they lower in value. The timing is just so brilliant. I can't say how much I adore it enough. And the app was actually really brilliant how it worked because it gave you a bunch of different scenarios too. Mm-hmm. So like, I think it's still available on Steam. I think it might be available on the app version. But yeah, I mean, there's times where it's like there's higher value chips. There's one where the chips are in reverse order. There's ones where you have to get a certain thing or the first to a certain number of points. Like, and there's just all these different weird scenarios that you can do with it. So much replay value. Still one of my favorite games of all time. Jaipur, number 8.
That is a really good game. And the app, like, I bought my copy, but once I got the app...
You sold your copy.
Right.
No, I didn't sell it. I still have it. It's in one of my, like, photo frame containers, but...
Yep.
Man, just because nobody wants to play it because it's a 2-player game, so it's really easy for me to get playthroughs. Yeah. And I like the story mode that they would give you in the game and the app, so...
Well, GameheadGeek, you hit me up anytime you're bored. We'll go on Board Game Arena and let's just knock out a few games of it.
Okay. My number 7 is... I think this is my highest CMON game. It is my highest... Nope, never mind, not my highest. But my number 7 is Blood Rage. I know Danny doesn't like it because it's just regular drafting,
Yep.
but the fact that you almost won, or
He
did
got
you
second
win?
place. Yeah.
He got second place.
Because
But
I went
that
full
local
Loki.
strategy,
Full Loki.
I mean, it was a phenomenal game, and it just hit at the right time for me, and I've loved the mess out of this game, and it led me to get 2 other games by the same designer. So it definitely was a game that I like playing. That's my number 7, Blood Rage.
My number 7 has been on the list 3 times. All 3 times we've done this. It went as high as number 2 last time we did this list. Originally at 3, now it is sitting at 7. I still do thoroughly enjoy this game. I believe it is my highest Stonemaier game on my list.
Ooh,
But
wow.
I dig this game a lot. In fact, I'm getting ready to go eventually in about a week or so to play the Spaniverse. This is Wingspan, the originator of the Spaniverse, because I got my Finspan in, I have Wormspan packed up and ready to go. I dig the mess out of this game. It is still one of my game group's favorites. This guy doesn't like it all that much. No accounting for taste. But the fact of the matter is, I enjoy my big box version of there. You can't really see it in the camera right now, but I do have the giant core box, and it just makes it so easy to set up for gameplay, because it even gives you a section for cards that you have already played to be put away. This way you're just playing with a whole new set of cards. So I love that aspect of it. Wingspan is my favorite Stonemaier game, apparently. My highest Stonemaier game, and it's going to get played a lot more because I love birds.
Yeah, just can't draw them.
No, I cannot.
Just can't draw.
Not in 20 seconds, anyways.
All right, so my number 7 has been predicted already. This is the highest ranked new game on here. It is a deduction game, and yes, it did come in this high. This is Almost Innocent.
I called it. I said top 10.
You're right. It was in the top 10. This game is cooperative deduction. There's a board out in front of you. You're trying to figure out who the victim is for you, what they were killed with, where they were killed at, and what piece of evidence was left at the scene. So, and you do this cooperatively by basically asking questions. And it's as simple as how many of the items are in row A? How many of the items are in column 1? And you go through, and the person to your left or right, I don't remember which. Well, the person to one side of you has your answers. And they'll look at it and they'll go, 2. And you'll go, okay, I know I have 2 in this. Or they'll go 0, and you're like, okay, I can mark off this whole thing. Nothing in there is mine. But what that also does is tells other people, it gives them a little bit of information. So it's one of those things. At the end of the game, you go, okay, at the end, you can choose to end it whenever you want, or it's usually after between 8 and 10 questions are asked, and each person gets to ask a question, and sometimes those questions have to be specific, like, is my victim in this row? And if it's no, then you go, okay, well, there's three victims in this row, so I know it's not one of those victims. Well, that leaves me a couple, so, but also tell somebody else, like, maybe mine is in that row.
Yep.
Because I already know that mine's not here, here, or here. And that's the other thing. Because you have somebody else's answer, you have information nobody else has. So you can cross off on your board knowing, it can't be this person, can't be this thing, can't be this place, and can't be this piece of evidence. And that can basically it gives you the clues to figure out who you are, who your victim is, and everything else. And it really works well. It's, like I said, it's my favorite deduction game. It's cooperative deduction. It's great, and that is Almost Innocent.
And number 2 is not really good at this game at all. Both times we lost is because of you.
I have not played this one.
Oh, you would dig it. I think it's pretty good. It'd break your brain, though.
See, I thought it was going to be... what's the one we played where it's like a noir deduction?
Cargo Noir?
No.
No, it's the one that we had to play. You ended up giving to Dom.
Oh, Detective.
Detective.
Yeah.
I think that might be in his top 100, but not the top half.
Yep.
Yeah, I've not played this one.
So this one's good. Go ahead.
My number 7 is the highest ranked engine building game that I have on here. This game, ever since I received it back in the day from AEG and John D. Clare directly, actually. He gave me my copy. Well, I mean, they were having a promotion they were giving away, but he was the one who literally handed me my copy after I talked with him. And I knew how cool he was after hearing from that. The first game I actually really, went out of my way to, look for. This is Space Base. And this is my wife's favorite game, probably, hands down.
I thought that was Splendor.
No, Splendor's up there, but Space Base is now one of her favorites. And so much
Yeah,
so
it used to be Tokaido, right? And then Space Base came out, and she loved that one.
No, I don't think she ever liked Tokaido, but,
Not Tokaido. What's the one where you're building your town in front of you?
Machikoro.
It's
Machikoro. Yeah.
Machikoro.
Yeah. We used to really like Machikoro. That slipped ever since we almost got a divorce over it. But now it is Space Base because it is just... we haven't divorced over that, so that's even better. So far. But Space Base, it's less about shenanigans, beating up other people, and more about, what kind of ridiculous combos can I pull? And I like how the first half of the game, you're playing your board. The second half of the game, you're playing everybody else's roles. And going by all of the different stuff that you've succeeded in. Space Base is fantastic of a game. This is one of those games where it's if anybody hates the random resource allotment like Machikoro gives or Settlers of Catan or any of those games and stuff, they might still like this game. Even though it technically does that same thing, it works in a much cleaner way. The engine building is brilliant. I love it a lot. Space Base, my number 7, previously my number 5.
All right. So, this is now my highest rated CMON game. And it's been mentioned on 2 people's lists. And it is Marvel United.
I don't think I have any CMON on any of my top 100.
I was going to say, let's just be honest about that.
Maybe
the
Sheriff
ease of
Nottingham
play on this one is amazing, and I still have stuff I haven't played through yet. And I'm super excited about the
DC
version coming out because I am a sucker for Batman, and the fact that I'm going to be able to mix all those characters is going to be amazing.
Well, what's even interesting about it, too, with the Batman, a lot of the Batman stuff is going into just a primary box that you can buy in stores sometime this summer.
Oh, no, and I'm super excited about it because it's Hush.
Yeah.
I as soon as they announced it, I was like, done. Done.
All right,
So,
go ahead.
No, that's it. That's it.
All right, my number 6 entered the list last year at number 15, and it's climbing, and I think it might even climb even higher. This is my most played game since I started keeping statistics, which is saying something because there's another game that has been played a lot too. But this one is just an happy-go-lucky, well, not really happy-go-lucky, but it is a well-played trick-taking game that we play all the time. It's like one of those little fun fillers. First one to 100 points stops the game. Whoever has the lowest score ends up winning. This is Little Devils. I thoroughly enjoy this game a lot. There's almost been divorces because of it.
It's a Dammit Danny, isn't it?
It's a Dammit Danny, yeah.
All right, let's go.
I love everything about this game, and it hits so well because it's one of the most straightforward trick-taking games to the point where GameheadGeek this is one of the few he's willing to play.
Right.
And it's just because it's I don't want these tricks. When do I play these 5 devils? But I cannot ever lead with a 5 devil.
Yep.
unless it's the only devil I have in my hand. If I have like a full hand of 5 devils, I just gotta wait till it gets towards the end. I'm like, well, I get to lead with this one. I get to lead with this one now. So, but that push and pull aspect of like, when do I put this out there? And then you play it enough at a certain player count, you'll be like, so one of my favorite things to do is like, if I have the 36 card, because I think in a 4-player game, it's 36 is the highest. I'll throw it out there to start. I'll be like, I got to lead. All right, here's the 36. Have it. Have at it. Have fun. Because I ain't taking this trick. Because somebody has to play down. Because you can't play up. And that's the thing I like about this game, too, is when someone leads a card, it's the next player that determines the trick, if they got to go above the number or below the number.
Yep.
That is such a little smart mechanic. I even like another version of this, Trickster Through Time, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
That's a little bit more convoluted, so it didn't make my top 100. But when we talked to the designer of that game, Daniel Solis, he mentioned he took that idea of the high or low, the second person sets the suit, from Little Devils. So yeah, Little Devils, my number 6.
Oh.
Kind of makes sense it's at a 6.
And it does. That's
All right.
what you did there.
So my number 6 is an 8-card engine builder that I've actually shown both these guys. I think I'm the one that likes it the best. I don't think Danny's played it enough. I think he would really enjoy it. It is a Tom Lehman game.
Is Res?
Yes,
Arcana.
Res Arcana.
Okay, yeah.
So I think if you
I
played it
haven't played
more,
in a long time.
I think if you played it more, you'd like it because basically you get 2 mages, you choose one, you have it, and you get to look at your 8 cards that you have. Then you with your mages, and you go, okay, this mage works best with this set of cards that I've got. Discard 1, shuffle your deck up. 8 cards, go. It's resource management. It's best though if you have both of the expansions. They make it a ton better. Because the pearls that come in Pearl and Perry basically either can be traded in for, they're worth a point at the end of the game, but they give you flexibility because you can trade them in for 2 resources or 1 gold, which gold is hard to get in the game, but you can use it to buy monuments, which give you points at the end of the game, and it's a simple race to 13 points. Whoever gets there first ends the game, but it's not necessarily, the game's not necessarily over at that point. It's just that round it's going to end, and then it's whoever has the most points at that point wins the game. And it's one of those games it's gone over really well. And actually, the more I play it, the more I see like there's a lot of genius in how he designed the game.
Yep.
It is one of my most played games. It goes over well with my family, and it doesn't matter. Like, the game can be a little long when you play max player count, but if you know that and you expect it, it's perfectly fine. Especially if you're playing with new players. But if you got people that know what they're doing, this game can just fly. So that is Res Arcana, my number 6.
Cool. My number 6 is the highest 2-player only game and also an abstract strategy game. It's come from 8 and then 10 previously. This is Quarto, developed by a mathematician, published in the 90s from Gamehead Games. Brilliant game. 4 in a row. You get either one of the 8 attributes that the pieces can be. Each one has a height, tall or short, square or circular, hollow or solid, or light or dark. If you get any one of those 8 attributes in the 4 in a row, you win. But the catch on this game is what makes it absolutely brilliant. If you put down the piece to make you win, but you have to give your opponent the piece that they place down. So you have to make a situation where your opponent gives you the winning piece. That is just phenomenal. I love that game. I know you guys hate it. It's a 2-player. That's why you hate it. But obviously, right? But obviously. We've established this.
This is the most boring out of all the abstracts. I'd rather play Yinch in that other Corridor over this one.
It's because it's 2-player. You hate all of it.
No, I actually don't mind Corridor. I think that one's actually a fun game. The building the trail, basically trying to.
You know why you like Corridor better? Because it plays 2 to 4 players.
I only ever played it at 2 players, so that's on you.
No, it's not technically a 2-player only game, so you like it slightly more. That's why Cordo, love it. Cordo and Corridor are the 2 that are the top sellers of the abstracts anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Gordo is just brilliant. But
My number 5 is Strike.
Really?
Wow.
This was the one that I thought was going to be a surprise for most of you guys.
Yeah.
I think I spent the most money at the time when I bought this for what this game did, because they didn't sell it in the States.
Yeah.
And then literally 4 months later, they said, oh, hey, guess what? It's coming to the States. But I have played the mess out of this. My copy is just destroyed. And all you're doing is you're literally putting a dice in a tray, and everybody has a handful of dice depending on how many people are playing. And it's a push your luck game. And all you're trying to do is just collect dice to come back. So if you rolled a 5 and there was already a 5 in there, you can pull all the dice. The great thing is, and I've been playing with the kids a lot more lately, is I can pull, if I pull all the dice out of there, they have to drop all of their dice. And I feel like a bad dad, but I do that quite a bit to my kids.
No, that's being a good dad. Teaching them life skills.
Life lessons.
That's right.
That's what it is when they're screaming and crying at the end.
No, Strike is fantastic. That's a good pick.
It's a good pick. It didn't make my top 100. That's why I was looking. I was like, did it make my list? I don't think it did. But it did not.
Yeah.
My number 5 is a game that I thoroughly enjoy. We talked about it. I think it was on somebody else's list. I think it was GameheadGeek's. I think it might have been on Dammit Dom's list as well. I know it's not on your list because you decided to go with the other version of this style of game, and you chose wrong. This is Unmatched, but the one I specifically put was the Tales to Amaze. I really love the co-op version of it. It is a...
Co-op version was not on my list.
But it is the... I lumped all the Unmatched... But I lumped all the Unmatched on it because I love the competitive side of it. I really love the co-op version of it. But it hits so well because of the monsters. And again, you mentioned it, the Ninja Turtles. I'm looking forward to it coming out with that because I am a big Ninja Turtle fan growing up. That you know how you were talking about Castle Grayskull and He-Man, that's your childhood. Ninja Turtles is my childhood, so that's why I'm excited for that. And the fact that you can take the bad guys in that new version and play them in competitive as well. Mm-hmm. I still think they need to make a set for the Alien as well as Mothman, because having Bigfoot versus Mothman go 1v1 would be so fun. But yes, Unmatched Tales to Amaze is the one I put here. It actually, the third time on this list. It was at 15 the first time it came on this list, moved up to 10, and now it's moved up to 5. And I think a big part of it is because of that co-op, because it's much easier to teach the game through the co-op.
Yeah, that co-op is what made me go down that rabbit hole. As soon as we played that, I was like, damn it, now I have to do this.
You were already teetering, and that was just like the little thing.
I was like, no, hold strong. You showed me that. I was like...
Yep. Alrighty, so my number 5 is my highest ranked campaign game. I believe it's been mentioned before. In passing, I don't think anybody had it on their list. And the only person that might have it on their list would be Gamehead. This is Wander, the Cult of Barnacle Bay. So...
It won't, I'll tell you this right now, it won't be because I don't own it. It's that's how I did my list, is that these were games that I owned.
I thought you did buy it. Or did you just never pull the trigger?
I didn't know because I did the Kickstarter, and then I only did it for the $1, and then it like I said, it was like, oh, you could do it, but I was like, I don't have the money to do that.
Yeah.
So I want this game. It is a fun game, and the fact that this had, I'm sorry, I'll let you continue with your...
So no, it is it's a campaign game. It's anthropomorphic animals. It's each animal has their own personality. It's fun. Yeah, you have the turtle. He's the tank, of course. You've got different ones. You've got a red squirrel. You've got all kinds of stuff, and they each play very differently. Then there's the initiative track. You can choose to go up or down on that initiative track, and it gives you bonuses depending on where you're at, whether it's defense, offense. There's a third one that it gives you. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, But the other thing too is that the campaign, when you start playing it, you get like when you go into the next scenario, you get like 3 choices. Well, you can go left, you can go right, you can go middle, and each one plays differently. Some have timing that you've got to beat. You got to get to the guy that's running to sound the alarm. You've got to kill him first. But not only do you have to get to him, he's all the way across the map, and there's water which will slow you down. There's all kinds of stuff. The other thing that's cool is that all of the enemies are hybrids. So it's like, oh, this is an archer. They're what is it? It's like a beaver and a scorpion, or a beaver and a crab. Bear shark is a tank. It's these cool things, and then they're now coming out with their. Hopefully this year will be out the second one, which will be LeCluck's Revenge, and you'll be dealing with ghost pirates. So, and when you open the book in the first one, it's got shows you where Barnacle Bay is, and then it's got all these other areas. So it seems like they've got quite a few things planned out for it in the future. And the other thing is, it's got exploding dice.
That's what introduced to me was the exploding dice. I like
that. And that's what I was going to say before. I was like, no, I'll let you continue. The exploding dice is what made that game awesome.
The fact that Vagrant Song uses that too, that's why I'm a sucker for it. But I figured this is going to be on your list, so I'll let you have the exploding dice fun. In Vagrant Song, it's called Booming Boxcars.
So, but yeah, no, the exploding dice. So, okay, you get a crit. You get to roll again. You get another crit. You get to roll again. All of a sudden, that guy that was so tough, you might hit him. You hit him enough times, it's just like, and he's done because I kept getting crits. Or the opposite happens where you throw it out there and you get nothing. And you're like,
That's usually GameheadGeek.
And wow, that one's gonna hurt when it comes back. But no, it's
that's not true. The exploding dice helped me a lot in that game. It really did.
They did.
Because I would get like 1 or 2 hits and they would explode. So it helped me. Not like playing Elder Tor where I get only 1 hit with 20 dice in my hand.
All right, that was your number 5, right?
Yeah, that was my number 5, Wanderer, the Cult of Barnacle Bay.
My number 5 is Azul. Another Spiel winner, 2015, I believe. Or no, 20... Later than that.
Back to sleep.
Yep, Azul. Well, you don't dislike Azul.
I prefer Summer Pavilion myself.
Sure, yeah, that's fair.
Stained glass.
I like them all, honestly.
I can't read the
except
stained
for
glass.
Queen. I like the Queen Guard.
I was gonna say, wait, you like them all, huh? When did that change?
I'm excited for the dual version because I like 2-player games, as that's obvious in this list. But I'm curious to see why they made a 2-player, because the 2-player is fine in the base, right? I don't know why they're making a dual version. But yeah, I mean, I adore Azul. This is one of the few games that my wife has ever played twice in the same night. Like, and not only that, like, I showed a friend of hers and her. She begrudgingly played. She played Azul, loved it. We tried the stained glass one. They really liked it, but they're like, but we like the first one better. So let's play that again. So we played 3 Azuls back to back in one night, and my wife has liked it ever since. I adore it. Azul, beautiful game. Next Move games really hit out of the park, or Plan B games, whatever it was.
Plan B.
Yeah. No, it was Next Move.
It became Next Move after Azul.
Did it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, either way, I adore it. Awesome game.
I think it was on GameheadGeek's list.
It was. It was my 48.
Yep. Azul, adore it. Previously my number 3, and then 11 before that.
All right. My number 4 was already mentioned last list because it was overproduced.
Once he said that, I knew who it was.
And that is Foundations
Sky
of Rome. This game, and like you said, there's so many different ways to play it, and it changes every time. But the simple like, when you first brought that over, I thought this was going to be like this huge, epic game. And it's epic. But man, you can play this like multiple times and just be like, oh, okay, let's put it back and put it away. And the way they design this, where everybody gets their own tray, it's just slide it right in and you're done. I mean, it is this awesome game. I really do want to try the city one that Daniel has, just to see like because no one's gonna go out and buy that one. Like, but so if I show it to people, and oh man, this is really great. Well, you can get this version. It's not as cool, but it still gives you the same feel.
It's arguably pretty cool though, because it still has the tray. Even though the polyominoes are there, you still put the tray down on top of it.
Keeps
And
everything
you
in
hand
place.
it out to it. It's still inlaid.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the minis for the buildings.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's a fraction of the price for one thing, and it fits how simple the game is compared to the two versions you have. And I have it on my shelf. I could not put the Foundations of Rome on the shelf because it would take up an entire shelf.
Mine is on my shelf too, way back there in the corner. I'm just saying. It just depends on the shelves that you use.
I got 2 shelf space in here, and I'm already overflowing. That little black curtain over there is my pile of shame.
All I hear is excuses in this.
All right.
You can kick out your wife's snakes.
No, the snake's in my bedroom.
Oh, he's not in the spare room anymore?
He's never been in the spare room.
Oh, I thought he was in the spare room.
All right, my number 4 here. We mentioned it earlier. It's a crossover with number 2 over here. This is my highest felled game. It went from originally to 10, fell out and went to 32, and has jumped back into the top 10 at number 4 because I thoroughly enjoy this game. In fact, I still love this game. And it helps that the pretty version just came out for this game, and I can see it a lot better now.
Maybe that's why it dropped for me, because it got too pretty for my liking.
And this is
you ain't ugly enough anymore.
And this is Castles of Burgundy. There's just something about how simple this game works, even though it looks like it's like a dry, dusty Euro where you're going to be like, oh, my brain's going to hurt at the end of this. And it's not. You roll your dice, and they work as your actions. If you don't like the number that is rolled, if you have workers, you can move that number around. If you don't want to fire a 6, you can use that worker, and it flips it over to a 1, or vice versa. So I love every aspect of this one. I could see this maybe even climbing a little bit higher because of the pretty version of this game. I love the little inlaid boards because of the Alea aspect of it. That they gave you for all the honeycombs in there. And I have the one where I can use all miniatures, but I also just have the acrylic tiles that work just as fine. I just like the miniatures because it's one of those things like if you take it to a convention with the miniatures, it's just going to pop off the table and people are going to come over and want to look at it. And so I really enjoy this one. It is a very simplistic Stefan Feld compared to some of the other ones we have played. In fact, we just recently played a newest one, a Civolution, that took some concepts from this game and put it into that grandiose game. And so, yeah, it is a fantastic game. Castles of Burgundy, my number 4.
So my number 4 is my highest ranked deck builder. But that's only part of the game.
I called this one too.
Yeah. So, and just the base game would be this high anyway, but once you add the leaders in, it 100% blew everything else away. This is Lost Ruins Arnak.
Oh, okay.
I did tell you this was going to be in his top 10, man.
Yeah.
Saw this one coming.
Because there's just so many ways to play the game. It's another one of those. It's a hybrid. Sure, you can go up the track. You don't have to go up the track on the side to win the game. You can do it, and this is kind of what the leaders kind of showed, is you can do it without going up that track. You might put 1 or 2 things into it so you can get your assistance, but after that, you can do it through exploration. You can do it through building your deck by either sets of cards, either artifacts or the tools. It's one of those games that it just... everything works well together. It's really well. It meshes well, and for me, it's always been this like the leaders just took it over the top, because one person might have 3 workers, the other person's worker, they can move around the board instead. One person has artifacts that they start with, and they can buy either out of the row or they can buy out of their own suitcase. So. It's one of those games. It's resource collection, resource management as well, and you figure out what you want to do with those resources and how to work them, and you score points. So, it's Lost Ruins Arnak.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But when we were talking about Terraforming Mars, I said how Prelude is not a necessary expansion. I honestly believe the leaders are a necessary expansion.
Agreed with that.
How many expansions are there for Lost Ruins? Is it 2 now?
2.
Because it's Leaders and then the one that just came out, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. My number 4 is just absolute shenanigans negotiation. This has always been in my top 5 since I've been doing these lists. And this is my highest Uwe Rosenberg game. Beans farming. Yeah, oh my god. Like, you guys can have as farming, the same thing. You guys can have as, worker placement, big grandiose games. I'm going to be trading beans up in here because I love this game. There's something about it. Every single time I've shown this to just about anybody, it just hits. It has no right being as fun as it is. Because all you're doing is getting beans, planting them in your fields, and trying to negotiate, wheel and deal, because the longer you grow those bean fields, the more points they're collectively worth. So, it's amazing. I adore this card game. I've had multiple versions in my collection, and I hope they make another version, because they numbered the flower version, the dahlias.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they continue doing that. I haven't heard anything about it, but maybe there's plans in the future.
Yeah.
Well, at least with Bonanza, you don't have to feed your people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm farming for the sake of farming, not because I'm feeding people.
All right,
Who
moving
farms
on.
to feed people.
Moving on to our number 3s.
So this is another crossover with only being within one turn. This is Castles of Cards.
It's with me again.
And I think that
Technically, it's a
just
crossover with you, too.
It is.
It's a crossover with you too, so can't be too mad.
No, I'm not
I mean,
mad.
it's better
It's a
if it was
great
in your
pick.
top 10, but
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Apparently, I don't like it no more.
but I mean, everything that you said, this is a very simple Euro game. And with that prettier edition that I just got in, I really think this will get to the table a lot more. I even think I could probably convince the wife to play this. So, probably not the pretty version, all out, but just get it in there. I think she would enjoy it.
The acrylic tiles would probably draw her in. We don't have to do
That's
the
what I'm saying. I
terrains.
wouldn't have to go too far with it, but I mean, it's super easy. It doesn't take a lot of brain power, and when you're done, I mean, it's fun, and you get to see what you kind of built. So
it's one of those games that's deceptively looking difficult. It looks difficult, and it's not the easiest game ever, right? But I taught it to a total non-gamer when I first showed it to my brother. It was to his roommate, and they still sought out a copy, and that's the only game they own. Is Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah.
Still to this day, it's amazing.
Good pick there, GameheadGeek.
Agreed.
All right, my number 3 is the second time it's been on this list. It was at 16 the last time it was here. I think it's been mentioned twice already. This is my highest rated CMON game here, and this is Marvel United. This is a fantastic game. And the thing about this one was I was very hesitant to get into this one. The last CMON chibi game that I played was the Arcadia Quest, and I found it okay at best. But then I played the version, I think it was with you, GameheadGeek, because you had just gotten the base game out of it, and we were like, okay, we'll try this out, and both of us were like, wow, that was good. And I kicked myself, so I ended up buying a base game, and then when the X-Men Kickstarter came out, I'm like, I'm backing it, because me personally, that's my preferred version of it, because I've been wanting a very good X-Men game. And now I knew Marvel United was already a fantastic game, because X-Men was my Marvel Comics of choice back in the day. And when they said, oh, we're going to do this with the X-Men, I'm like, yes, I'm in. To the point where he even loved the X-Men version because it had his favorite mutant, one of the most obscure mutants out there.
Freaking Dupe. How? Any game that has Dupe in it, A+ in my mind.
So, and I agree with GameheadGeek. I'm looking forward to the DC United. I'm looking forward to intermingling it. I want to play it more. I want to play with the Galactus because I have that big, not the big Galactus, but I do have a big Galactus I want to play with. So, Marvel United, my number 3.
I remember when that broke my brain. I was like, you were like, yeah, it has every mix. I'm like, it doesn't have Dupe. Nobody has Dupe. You're like, actually, it does. What? That was amazing.
Dupe was in the exclusives, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Alright, so
As he should be.
My number 3 is a system that's already been mentioned. This top 10.
I knew it was going to be on your list.
Yeah, and you know it was going to be high.
And yeah, two away from me.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Why are you looking over there? Like,
I know what he's talking about. He said system.
Yeah,
The
I know
Soul
what
is
you're
a
talking
series of games. So.
This is unmatched. This is the one that somebody over here wouldn't listen to us about. He went and got Funkoverse. A couple others of us said, no, a match is where it's at.
What?
This technically is a Dammit Dom game, too.
I'll admit, I will start playing Unmatched once they bring Kool-Aid Man over. Like, once they get Kool-Aid Guy, like, that, I'm a big fan.
So, but the thing that, I mean, I love the competitive portion of Unmatched. I think some of the greatest things have happened doing this. I've seen Bigfoot turned to stone by Medusa. It's hilarious because you never realize, like, if you've never played with the Medusa cards, there's a card in there that's like, oh, it's only 2 damage. But if you didn't defend it, it's plus 8 damage. Well, Bigfoot only had 9 damage left, so that was 10 damage. Bigfoot got turned to stone. It's like, wait, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
And it's got those crazy moments in there, and that's part of it. And then once they came out with the Tales to Amaze, it just it was through the roof when they did that. And then now the new set, can't wait for it. And the fact that they're bringing back some of the characters that are harder to find right now is great. Yeah,
Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I'm
not gonna lie. I would really like if they brought Deadpool back, because after playing your Deadpool, I was like, I had some of these cards when I was growing up, and like the fact that there's actual like cards in the set is just amazing.
So, Gamehead Geek, since it's on your list, what's your favorite set so far?
My favorite set probably has to be the Velociraptors and
Engine.
Yeah, because I liked playing the Raptors. They were a lot of fun. That was one of why I got like all I've been collecting lately of just the IPs. The only other IP I need to get that I think is hard to find is the Buffy one.
Mm-hmm. Very hard to find.
Yeah. What is your favorite set?
Cobble and Fog, by far.
Same. That is my favorite set, too. We don't care. It's not on your list.
I know it is.
I know which one's your favorite, though.
Match. Which one?
Houdini and Genie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We all know which
Of course it's Houdini.
It's not because of the Genie. Houdini is...
Genie's alright. Houdini's awesome.
No, I like the Genie because I screwed over one of his buddies with the 3-wish
really
cards.
Yeah. Those are great. Alright.
So that's Unmatched, my number 3.
Alright. My number 3 is the highest deck building game, and it was previously number 11 and then number 5.
Oh, I already know what this is.
Yeah, we all know what it is, but the newest expansions really make it look
no
really
accounting
fun.
for taste.
It's pure deck building.
Yep, pure deck building. Dominion, the originator, pure deck builder. No, the newest one, like the Rising Sun expansion, has a lot of Japanese culture into it. Brings back more duration cards, some extra actions on it. It looks like the past few expansions, they've been actually coming back to, like, true form, with, like, going back with a lot of the stuff. A lot of the big cards that, like, Prosperity and Seaside had. I adore these expansions. Last episode, we had a listener on who said that they owned all the Dominion expansions. So do I. I love it, and I will continue buying them because they shouldn't be as good as they are. Like, plenty of games that had this many expansions had, like, a few where you don't really talk too much about. This one only really has one that's, like, considered less good than the rest. But even then, if you play it on its own, it's pretty fun.
But if you have everything, you need a suitcase to store it all.
Oh, you need more than that. Oh my god. Like, it's insane. I remember they were working on getting an official, like, carrying case, and it looked like a freaking rifle case. Like, it was massive. And
I love deck builders. I've still yet to play Dominion. I've never played it.
Honestly,
the base game has a very good free app.
I think the fact with Dominion, you'll probably like it. I don't mind Dominion. I like giving him grief about it.
Sure.
But because you're coming in from other deck builders, it might not hit like you would want.
What I still like about this though, compared to other deck builders, is every other deck builder kind of goes with the
river.
Just play everything,
Yeah.
right? You can play whatever you want. It doesn't matter. There's no planning in your hand. But Dominion had specifically, you could play one action, but other cards can give you the opportunity to play more actions, and that I really like because it's like, well, you can't just willy nilly play everything. Like, and that's why it still doesn't rank. Like Star Realms and Hero Realms doesn't rank as high because it's like it's an abundance of goods, so there's no real depth of choice. Whereas if I'm playing a deck
Screw
of
that, give
Dominion,
me the abundance.
no, but, I mean it's satisfying, but like at the same time in Dominion, if I'm playing a card where I can either refine something I have or potentially draw more cards, I have to know what's in my deck to justify that reason.
I like how he's justifying famine over feast.
I mean, y'all can eat a golden corral. I'll eat at something better. I don't know.
Wiener Schnitzel?
Wiener Schnitzel. There you go.
My
Still
number
number
2 is my highest Stonemaier game.
Really?
And that is going to be Sight.
I was going to say, okay, yeah.
There's only one game it could be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have the big box. I have everything for this game. Actually, I shouldn't say that. The only thing I don't have is the modular board. So, but I mean, the action selection in that where you can't, unless you have the ability, you always constantly have to move. And sometimes you're not even picking the top move, you're picking the bottom move just so you can do something. And the fact that you don't have to go and battle to win that game, it's such a great game. And I don't know. The fact that they even made a kid's version of the game because it was so popular, which I still have yet to play.
That was fun.
It's fun.
It's good.
I can agree with it.
We had a fun time with it. We played it just recently. It was one of my picks.
Yeah, I know. Because you told me, like, you were missing out on this. I was like, don't tell me that.
Well, you got to show up every week.
Only I could.
All right. My number 2 is already been mentioned, I believe, by Dammit Dom, because GameheadGeek forgot to put it in his list. And this is my highest restoration game. And even though it takes a lot of time to get set up and everything, every time I've played this, and I played it multiple times last year, I enjoy it so much so. The story, but the fact that it's one shot, and then the tension you get, and it's when we talked about it with TI4, you don't feel like you've been playing for that amount of time. We've played like 3-hour games, and we're like, wait, it's been 3 hours? Because you're just paying attention to what's going on the board. And this is Return to Dark Tower. I thoroughly enjoy this game. I've played it on easy mode. I've played it on the hardest mode where you just randomize everything. And it works so well. And it's been a hit every time I bust it out. The expansions do really good about adding more stuff, but if you don't want to play with the new stuff, but the characters still work very well just playing out of the base game. I love everything about this game. Return to Dark Tower, my number 2.
So now I know you're number 1.
You-
I assumed, but I was like, yeah, you might shake it up.
Alrighty, so my number 2 will be a crossover with somebody here. And actually, yes, it is.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes, it is.
It's your number 1.
It's your number 1. My number 2 is a tile laying game.
You're the least shocking list, all right? We know what your number 1 is, and we have for the entire time.
So, yep, my number 2 is Carcassonne.
I
And
didn't realize you really liked it.
no, I do.
This was like his number 2 last year, too.
Like-
Last time when he did 2 years ago when you did it, when we were talking about it, yeah.
Yeah. This is a game that it really works for me. I like the spatial puzzle of it. And it's a cooperative. It's not a cooperative game. I like the cooperative version though. That was
Cooperative
fun.
version is really fun.
And that's included in this.
Yeah.
But the spatial puzzle of you're trying to figure out how you get the most points without allowing somebody else to sneak in and snake it from you right at the end, which that's part of the fun too. And you're sitting there like, oh, you're building this giant city. I'm going to place this tile right here next to it, and I'm
no,
gonna
your
place
city is our city.
and then 3 turns later, our city is now my city. So yeah, it's one of those games that people say that scoring the farms is hard. I've never had a problem with it. I think you look at it, you look at the borders, and you go, okay, oh wait, how did you sneak into that field right at the end?
I snuck in when you took over my town.
Yeah, but it's just a great game, and unfortunately, don't have the catapult, but that's the only thing I'm missing from it.
That's tough. It's tough.
But somebody has all of it. But no, it's a great game, and everything that they've added to it is fun, and you can play it with as much or as little as you want. And when they added the river into the base set, that made it perfect. It was an easy way to start the game. You didn't have to worry about anything. Build the river and then go from there. So that is Carcassonne, my number 2.
All right. So
I really do like the co-op version of this, though. With the ghosts, man, they're mean.
They really are.
Is that what the new version that I keep seeing with like different artwork on it? Is that the co-op version?
The Mistsover Carcassonne.
They'll have little ghosts on it, but they just updated the visuals for the newest releases of Carcassonne.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you get the 10th or 20th anniversary.
20th is like the blue box.
Like super blue.
Blue box, and
really beautiful.
It's embossed on the tiles. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really nice.
Yeah. Well, my number 2, for the longest time as we've been doing this list, used to be my number 1 highest ranked legacy game. And
and it still hasn't moved.
It still is, but it also used to too. The Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Wow, it's still on here.
It's still on there, and in fact, it dropped down.
I don't see it. It did not drop down.
It did. Last time we did this, it dropped to 12, and now there's 2 prior to that. Because Bonanza was my previous number 2. And, Pandemic Legacy. I'm honestly considering buying another copy of it so I can play with my kids. I had such a fond memory of it. It was like 7 years ago now that I finally played it. Whenever it first came out, I remember I have more stories about the events that happened in this game than I could say. So many beautiful moments. Great, made me fall in love with legacy games. I can even say, I remember my favorite story about this game was not about the game itself, was when I was looking for it in Houston, going to a friend's wedding, and me and one of my best friends and his girlfriend and my wife both went in at the same time. You played one round with us. We went in to a game store at the same time, and all of the men that were in there just stopped to stare at my wife and his girlfriend, and we're like, don't make us get the hose, guys. Y'all are a bunch of nerds. You need to call
you
them out,
kind of need to get the hose if it's kind of one of those bro shops.
Right. It was one of those, and I was like, I'm coming in here for a reason. I'm looking for Pandemic Legacy. Y'all back off, And that's just one of the many stories. Like one of my friends joined in, and we lost in the very first turn. We all took a turn, and it just went downhill fast. I've never seen a lose that fast. And it's just so funny. So many great moments that I still think about to this day.
I don't think it made my top 100. I do enjoy the Pandemic Legacy Season 1. It's right there by your feet. And it's because I want to do something with it. My only issue with it for me and our game group, I played it with GameheadGeek, is that the fact that it just felt anticlimactic when we were playing the last round or something like that. It felt basically, okay, we're done. We did everything we need to do the last month. We just got to play it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, too, that's where I kind of found out, except for Betrayal, I don't like legacy games. Because the constant, playing for me, I'm like...
Yeah, that was a big issue, too, is we were just playing the same game over and over again.
The only two legacy games I ever recommend to people are Pandemic Legacy Season 1 and Betrayal. And that is because they do that legacy aspect right. All the other legacy games I've played have not done it correctly.
I think there's one he'd like. I think he'd like Charterstone.
No, I don't. I think functionally he'd like the game Charterstone. I think for the reason why I like legacy games, Charterstone is one of the bottom.
Yeah.
Because there's no substantive story in it at all. My choices don't matter in the future.
My number 1. Can you guess what it is?
I'm trying to think, because I thought Scythe was going to be your number 1.
No, he already said Cthulhu Death May Die, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Is it a dice chucking game?
Not Champions of
Yes,
Midgard, right?
actually it is. It is.
I don't think it's Champions.
It's not Champions, right?
Dom, you got to guess?
It is a dice chucking game. He already said tumbling dice.
Dice chucking game.
And it is something you have to use. It was the whole reason why I bought my iPad.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting about this. This is your favorite Cthulhu game.
This is my favorite
Oh,
Cthulhu game.
Mansions.
Mansions of Madness.
Yeah, okay. All right. You got us
I've
there.
played this solo so many times. I've played a lot with Daniel over there. I mean, it's just the storytelling in it is amazing. The fact that when you play it, even if you keep playing the same scenario over and over, they switch up tiles, they switch up placement. There's very little just keep you going. And the fact that when you go in the app, you can tell what you have to what you don't, and then they'll throw that into the game. So,
I don't disagree with you on the fact that this is good. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's the best Cthulhu game. My favorite memory of this game, though, was when we were playing the Innsmouth scenario, and the freaking mob destroyed us.
Yes. That, I want to go back and play that one, because that was the last time I played that specific scenario, and I'm just like, dude, we got destroyed. Because we got, they just started showing up right at the beginning. We're like, what are we
Yeah, we tried to jump out of the windows and go around a building.
Yeah, no. So, but my number one is Mansions of Madness.
My number one is, there's no surprise here. I bet you all three can name what my number one is. It's been my number one all 3 times. I really do enjoy this game. So guys, go ahead.
3, 2, 1. Charter stuff. No.
Frosthaven.
No. Carcassonne. Darn it.
Gloomhaven. Yeah. Yeah, I still adore this game. I haven't played it as much lately, and I do need to finish the scenarios off and finish the campaign. What I like about it is when you're playing it one way, it closes stuff off for you in a different way. So I could go back and play this again later on if I wanted to and see what else is done. Yeah. And then once you finish the campaign, you could just treat it as one-shots as you're going. Yeah. And so that's why, for me, I love campaign games more than legacy games. Because there's no permanent changes. If it tells you to take out a card, you just take it out, and I put it in a baggie and put it on the side of the game. Yeah. This way I can just reinsert it as we're going. And the fact that your characters are basically a mercenary group, and you can retire them and maybe open more boxes later down the road. I've enjoyed everything about this game. It is by far my favorite game because of the choices you're making. I love the very simple card play aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Of you just play 2 cards out. You take the top half and the bottom half. And then I like the fact that they have basic capabilities. So, if I don't really want to play this great action here, I could just use it. Okay, I'm just going to save this card, and I'm going to attack this character with this card. I love the short rest and long rest that you get in a Dungeons and Dragons kind of game where, all right, if you're doing a short rest, then you randomly lose a card. But if you're doing a long rest, you get to choose which card goes into your lost pile. Yeah, it is a fantastic game. I really do enjoy it. I want to finish it because I want to get into Frosthaven and see. But I know that's more of a next step version of this game. But yeah, I adore it. Going along, I think GameheadGeek had Jaws the Lion on his list. I just lump sum it all as one. Jaws the Lion, the little miniature version of it, the solo game of it, as well as Gloomhaven. They're pretty much the same. So we'll leave it at that.
I'd only put it at 2 just because of the fact that the Jaws of the Lion did the book, which I know you can do now, but that's not when I bought my Gloomhaven. It was still all tiles and everything like that. So, but
yeah, the tiles don't annoy me as much as most people, and it's because of the way I process it now. I'm like, okay, this is the next scenario we're going to go to. So if we're pausing, I put the tiles that we need for the next scenario on the very top of everything. So I separate the tiles by the books, and I put the tiles that we're going to use on top of the books. This way, when I take the lid off, it's ready to go.
That's a good idea.
All right, so my number one has already been mentioned. This is the IP game you were thinking of the last time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is The Reckoners. Fully cooperative. It's a game, it's easy to play with 6 players because you're all rolling your dice at the same time. The only thing you're doing is choosing actions. And you can choose actions any way you want. You sit down, you discuss it. You've got to get rid of these epics. so that you can get to the big main bad epic, and once you get done with that, then you got to wear them down, and you got to do it as quickly as you can, because if not, you're going to run out of population. They will take out the entire city, and you won't be, and you're going to lose the game. And it's really just that simple. Like, you don't have, and it's dice rolling, and each character has those double symbols depending on what their character is good at.
Mm-hmm.
And the more characters you have in there, the easier it is to get those double symbols. Now, what I like what they did with the expansion is they're all hybrid characters, so you get two of each set of dice rather than a single set. So you get 2 normal dice, 2 of one type of characters, and 2 of another type of characters, and you throw them out there, and it gives you a little bit better chance of getting all the symbols that you need. Whereas if you're only playing 2 or 3 players, you only with the original game, you only get those specific special dice for each character. So that is the Reckoners.
So if I remember correctly, the Reckoners is just based off the first book. Really, I mean, they add some characters that might be in the other 2, but it's mainly just the Steelheart stuff, right?
So the Reckoners,
Base
Steelheart
game.
is base.
Yeah.
And the expansions have
They
the
add
other,
the other 2
books.
books. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to see. Is the expansion introduce the other books?
it does.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, tell us what your number 1 is, because we all know what your number 1 is, because it was his too.
It was his as well? It was his too?
It was his too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's no lie in it. It's still just, I adore that game. Carcassonne. Everyone who listens to podcasts has been my number 1 for the past 2 podcasts. I even played it yesterday.
Of course you did.
Like, I was sitting, the app is a wonderful version of it. Me and my wife were waiting, torturing my son, letting him get a haircut, which is absolute torture for him. And probably the barber. And so he was getting.
Hope you didn't take him to the barber that you did your haircut last time.
Oh man, no, he doesn't look like Prince Valley or Farquaad. Yeah, no, me and her just sat there, 20 minutes, knocked out a game of Carcassonne. I absolutely wrecked her, but I felt bad because I was playing incredibly risky, where you would create a space of 8 tiles with a single tile spaced in between with a single road going in it, ready for one of those 2 road cloisters. I'm like, this is going to be 9 points to just whoever draws it. And I drew it both times I did that. And I felt so bad. I destroyed her just by chance. But God, I love the game. The puzzle's good. The game is fun. It brought us the meeple. And all the expansions just add some silly stuff to it, with some exceptions. Yeah, don't blame me for not owning the catapult. It did need dexterity.
I'd own the catapult if I could get a hold of it.
I know you would. Like it's worth owning, not worth playing. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I can make you one. Really.
Before we get going, we'll do like our statistics when we finish off the top 100.
Sure.
This way we have everything out there. So one of the videos that we do I'll give the statistics I have. But I did do my crossover statistics, and you want to know who I crossed over with the most?
Not me.
Price.
Yep, Rice.
Nice.
GameheadGeek, I crossed over 14 times. And a close second, I told you the 2 I was going to cross over most was him, and not you.
Oh, I figured
he
that.
had 11, but you were actually pretty close at 9.
Yeah.
So,
And until we go over the actual top 100, like the full hundreds, then I'll give the full list. But yeah, you're the most I've crossed over with. Somehow. Definitely not 4 each for these guys. That's it. 4 out of the top 50.
all right, you guys have fun doing your top 100. And again, for all our audio and visual listeners, the rest of the 100 is going to be coming later. We did the 50 through 1 as the podcast cycle. You'll be hearing the rest of the 100, the 51 through 100, in separate videos and audio side of things.
So what are your final thoughts, guys?
It was fun. It was very much fun.
It was fun. I really need to go check my BGG list because I'm like, after he said Bonanza, I was like, Bonanza's not in here. Like, and I own that game.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there would have been a lot of changes, but I'm pretty sure Return to Dark Tower would have been at least in my top 50 because I do love that game.
Yeah.
So much so you had to hunt the miniatures down for it.
Yes. Which is the reason why we played it the last time we played it is because I finally got my miniatures. I was like, I want to play this with my miniatures, so we played it.
All right.
Anything else you guys want to add real quick?
No.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
Your anti-social media, where can everybody find you?
I mean, I really don't do much anymore on there, but you can still go watch some of the videos I have, and that is GameheadGeek. I am on TikTok and Instagram. I have not moved over to YouTube Shorts, but that's where you can find me. Like I said, I have a lot of videos up if you want to go take a look.
Cool.
All right,
So we'll close it out. I want to thank you so much for listening. If you ever want to email us directly, we have an email, everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. Whether it's to just say hello, give us ideas for future episodes, or enter in contests that we may be running at the time. We also have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames. And go check out some of the silly videos there and follow us there to see what we've been playing.
As well as all video re-uploads and reviews are found on youtube.com/everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live while recording at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. So come join us, like our friend Creative Chaos and anybody else who joined us in our chat today. Give us a shout out and join in on the conversations.
All audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
I'm Dammit Dom.
And I'm Gamehead
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.